Hi. So, a lot of my friends and some family members asked me why did I choose Korea to teach in, to move to. And it's picking Korea, it's a big choice, and there are a lot of factors that go into it. Um, and some people will ask, like, why not this country? Like, why didn't you choose this country? So going into it, I thought, what languages do I speak? Or like, what languages could I still learn? And I speak French, so I was looking into France at first and to Belgium. And I had taken Chinese, and I could still take Chinese, so I was looking into Taiwan, China. And then I had studied a little bit of Korean, and I could take Korean at my university, so I was looking into Korea. So it was limited to those four countries due to that reason. Because when you pick a place to teach, you're not just going to teach there, you're going to live there. So if you live somewhere, you have to be able to speak that language in order to get around. So some people will move somewhere and not know the language and think they'll be fine. You won't be fine if you don't speak the language, because you'll have to go shopping, you'll get lonely because you won't be able to make friends if you don't speak their language. So then the argument to that is, well, there will be people who speak English. Yeah, but it's not respectful if you go somewhere and you just don't bother to learn their language. It's very disrespectful. So I was keeping that in my mind when I was choosing a country. So I limited myself to four countries, and out of those four, I was looking also at the financial aspect, because I have just graduated from college. I'm going to have to pay back a lot of student loans, and what's financially possible. So that made it so France was out, unfortunately, because financially I couldn't afford it. I would have to be able to find my own housing and pay for my own housing, and I have to pay for my own plane ticket, and Europe is very expensive. So, like, financially, that was just out of the question. Belgium ended up getting out too, because although I found a scholarship, I didn't receive that scholarship. So I couldn't go to Belgium financially. So then it left Taiwan, China, and Korea. So out of those three countries, I kept studying Chinese and Korean, and my friends were helping me. I have friends from Taiwan, I have friends from China, and friends from Korea, and they're all super supportive of me and my choices. And so then I was thinking, okay, where out of those countries could I get in? So I started looking at applications for teaching in all three of those countries. And then I thought about it, and after looking into it, I found out with China, a lot of the times you have to have been out of college for a certain amount of time, and a lot of my friends in China aren't there right now. And then in Taiwan, I actually did apply to a school, and they just never responded. So that was a piece of that. And then in Korea, they have a ton of programs, and financially, all three of the countries would be financially stable for someone fresh out of college and having to pay back loans. So they were all on an equal playing field. And then, like, someone asked me why didn't I choose Japan? Because, like, typically if people go to Asia, people are like, oh yeah, China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea. Those are the big four that people go to. So, like, why didn't I even look at Japan? And for me, I would like to see Japan, but it's not a place I'd like to stay, if that makes sense. Because I think there's a difference between seeing a country as a tourist and living in a country to get the culture. And I would love to see Japan, but that would be like more as a tourist. So that's also something to keep in mind. And so that's why I didn't choose Japan at all. In Korea, the more I learned about the culture, the more I like fell in love with it. And then same with Taiwan. I didn't really learn that much about China's culture, but Taiwan and Korea ended up being the main two I was looking at. And so I was filling out applications for both. Korea is like really fast when you start rolling with the applications. They're really fast to get back with you and answer questions. Taiwan was a bit slower. And then language-wise, Korean for me came a lot easier than Chinese did. And so I think Korean having the alphabet, the Hangul, made it a lot easier for reading purposes, which made it easier to learn vocab. Whereas with Chinese, I was still on the pinyin, and it just took longer for me to figure out. So then, since the applications for Korea just kept going faster and faster, I just kept going with that one because it felt right. And then I knew more people from Korea, and then my sister had been to Korea, so I knew more about the culture. And it just felt right to choose Korea over Taiwan. And then, like, I've met people from all over the world, and I think any country that you choose individually, because everyone makes their own choices based on their own reasoning. This is just my reasoning. So any place in the world could be a potential, like, place to teach, and it could be fantastic, but this is just why I chose Korea over the other choices I had. Obviously I had more choices available. You can see my other video talking about different teaching programs, and those are all over the world. So for me, I had a lot of choices. I just thought how I'm going to survive in a place by speaking, how I'm going to make friends, and where I would potentially like fit in better. And so I chose Korea. And then what's financially possible. So those were all the things I took into consideration before going forward with an application. For you it could be different, but this is how I chose Korea to teach.